Hello everyone, it's Michelle Angelique, Truth and Integrity Warrior. Today I'm going to be doing a podcast, which I haven't done in a long time. It's August 3rd, and this podcast is going to be about why we can't find love. How come we can't find it? It's because it's on the inside, and we're looking for it on the outside. And that sounds really problematic because it is. So I'm hoping to bridge a gap here to bring you my experience, my pain, and how I came out of that pain so that I can see clear, because I knew that's at the end of this whole experience that I had for the past couple of months in love and pain. What was supposed to come out of it was my healing, my experience, what I needed to be drawn out of me, and I needed somebody else to do that for me because I couldn't see it for myself. As which in most cases is always a problem. We can't see what we have to fix within ourselves until somebody projects it externally, and we have to be able to recognize that external projection to reflect back and to be able to fix and adjust, make those adjustments, those necessary adjustments within oneself, so that we can get magnetically aligned within ourselves, so we can have a coherence within our words, our thoughts, and our feelings, because they're all off center. And that's why I say we're magnetic. We live in a magnetic field, and we are also electromagnetic. But because we don't recognize these things, we're off center. And because we're off center, or off point of center, we can't get this balance that we're all looking for in our lives. And so I had to go through this journey of love, love somebody deeply, to let him in, to be able to draw that outside of myself. And that experience was that I needed to recognize and find balance within myself, was the understanding that I had gone through so much abandonment and rejection as a child. I didn't recognize that as an adult. And so I was living it out and not recognizing why I was so stuck to somebody who constantly rejected me, and I constantly felt that abandonment, that non-worthiness, that I'm not enough feeling. And a lot of us go through that. A lot of us feel that, but it's knowing, what do we do with that feeling? How do we process that feeling? Because usually it just sits on our lap, and we just feel that pain, and we don't know where to go from there. And so this podcast is going to be about that, my experience. And I really hope that it can help bridge the gap for people who have been through that experience and don't know what to do with those emotions, and have forgotten about them, and don't recognize that they're causing an effect in their lives today, in the present moment, with the lives that they're living. And for those of you who might not yet go through an experience like that, what to do that if you do go through that experience, kind of bridge that gap to get there quicker, process those emotions, so that we can get that fulfillment we're looking for, that transformation we're looking for. Because if we're going to be getting pain, like when we go to the gym, we get that pain, that burn in our muscles, but we know we're going to get a gain from it. We know we're going to improve because of it. So how do we look at love and pain as being able to get an improvement? That's what this is going to be about. I want to go through 3 very important points so that it's very specific. And it is, we are confusing sex for love. Well, at least I know I was. I didn't know until I figured this out with this experience with this man. This man's name is David. Yeah. I have other videos where I've talked about David and my experience with David. It's not so you can hate him. It's just he's going through his process. I'm going through mine. And these are the things that I've gained from this process. So we're confusing sex for love. We're repelling love, and we don't recognize it because we are magnets, because we work in this magnetic field. There's a push and a pull, and there's magnets that will repel, and then there's magnets that draw in, and it depends on what side they're facing, is if they're going to be pushing or pulling. And understanding these physics in our reality and within ourselves, we're going to be able to draw in what we want and be able to recognize what we've been pushing away. And a lot of us have been pushing away love and don't recognize it. And it's magnetic. I mean, what I'm saying is it's scientific, is what I want to say. It's something that's cause and effect. And the other one is, what is the true meaning of unconditional love? Unconditional love is something that we say but don't really recognize the meaning of. And I'll tell you my experience so you can maybe feel what I'm saying. Maybe you've had the same experience or are experiencing it and not recognizing it. So as long as I can touch on those points, I'm hoping, let me just say, I'm hoping to be able to bridge the gap because of those points that I recognize in my journey with David, And so where's the part where I was confusing sexual love? I didn't even know I was doing that. I didn't even recognize that you could confuse the two, or that there was attention that needed to be in that direction. Never thought about sex and love and being mixed, and that they needed to be in two completely different lanes of feeling. There are two different lanes of emotions, but yet when I was denied sex, I know it sounds crazy, right? But denied sex. But maybe one day, I'll go into more about how that all worked out. Like I said, I don't want to bash David. I don't want people to hate him. These are the experiences I needed to go through. My soul needed to go through. And David's soul is going through his own experience that would be able to draw that out in me. And so being denied sex is not something I'm used to, not at all. Sex is a big part of my nature. I don't choose to have sex with everybody. I'm very choosy. I say that so that there's a clear understanding. It's not because I'm a very sexual person. It doesn't mean I'm going to go have sex everywhere. I choose. I'm very specific. I don't like just anybody. But I do recognize that when we like somebody and they're doing something on negative, there's something in that negative that we got to fix in ourselves, and that's the reflection I was getting. But I wasn't aware of it right at that moment. I knew there was something I needed to pay attention to. Accepting this type of behavior from David, I knew that there was something in there that had to do with me, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And so in this podcast, it's about pinpointing. So maybe you can be able to pinpoint sooner than later and be able to help yourself out of an emotional ditch, just want to get out of that emotion. But being denied sex, like I said, I never had that experience before. I felt rejection. I felt I wasn't loved. I felt I wasn't enough. I felt I wasn't beautiful. I felt all these things that I actually had always felt, but never brought them out to the surface. And this shouldn't make you cry, So if I start crying, just bear with me, right? A lot of us feel these things, but we don't about ourselves. We feel these things about ourselves, that we're not worthy, or we're not enough, or that we're not beautiful. No matter what is expressed on the outside, it's what we feel on the inside that we want to make the change. We want to make the change on the inside, but that's just hard. No matter what we're fixing out here, it's the inside, is that emotion, right? So I didn't feel honored. I didn't feel whole. I didn't feel important. But these things are not because it's David's fault. It's because of David's actions that made me reflect on what I already felt about myself in my life. And so I had to face those things, right? I had to look at those things. Like I said, bear with me. Shit ain't easy. Even though I've already processed it, I still feel it. It's shit's hard. But at least I got some center, I got some center ground, so my shit ain't all over the place. I got some fucking center that I wish to share. And that popped up. And then I recognized that this man, because he denies me sex, I'm feeling not loved. And he kept stating how much he loved me, but yet wouldn't show me physical affection or sexuality, because he would show me affection, he would hug me, hold my hand. He showed me all these expressions of love, but not sex. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening here? And I knew that what the fuck is happening here is what the fuck is happening with inside of me. And I sat back and I had to really think about this one. And I was like, all right, where's the mix up right here? Because this man says he loves me, he holds me, he caresses me, he makes me feel cared for, but I don't feel loved because I'm not getting sex. And then I recognize that, oh shit, I'm confusing the two. I'm confusing the two, one for the other, and they're not the same. So the expression of love is a care. And the expression of sex is a different form of expression of a joining, a combining of two souls, if you will. And recognizing that sex, or the lack of sex in my life, meant the lack of love, I had to fix that up. I said, no, if I never have sex again, it doesn't mean that I don't have love. And I can never be confusing that. I cannot be confusing that. And so that organized that information within myself, that because I do not receive sex does not mean that I do not have love, or I cannot be loved. And so that fixed that up, that category of separating the two, not recognizing that I was mixing them. That's one component. The next component in this experience of this relationship is when I separated from David, where we were up and down many times, but this last time we're not talking anymore. He's in a rehab. He said his goodbyes and I said my goodbyes, and we're each going through our lives, you know. I gotta do my life and he has to do his. And as I'm crying and wailing because I don't have this man in my life anymore, I'm trying to understand these feelings that I'm left with, that I'm not loved, that I'm not worthy, that I'm not honored, that I'm not important, that I'm not beautiful, that I want to be accepted, you know. And again, you hear the break in my voice, because these are feelings, these are emotions, these are the things we hide from ourselves because they bring up these feelings of sadness. And so I had to find a mechanism to change that around in my mind, to change that around in my words and in my feelings. I didn't want to say I am not this, because I recognized that at some point, that when I say at some point, trust me, these don't just come like that. It's experiences I'm living, and then I'm recognizing, and then I'm making the adjustment. And so when I recognized the words that I was repeating in my own mind, what I am not, because of the expression and the feelings that I was getting from David. And again, it's not David that gave me these feelings. It's I have these feelings already. David's actions reminded me of what I had to adjust inside of me. So please remove any hate from this other person. This is about me and myself as it is about you and yourself. Through your own journey is what I'm saying. Through our own journey, this is about ourselves and how how we can rise up from these experiences to build upon, to become stronger, to be more coherent and correct within ourselves, so that we can live some balanced lives, because that's all we're looking for, right? We're all looking for that center of balance and peace. And so when I recognize that, wait a minute, if I'm a magnet and I know magnets can repel, and my thoughts are in a pattern of I cannot, I am deficient of, I do not have, I'll never attain. Those are all the negatives, right? What I don't have. Then I am, every step I take forward, boom, I'm pushing away what it is that I actually want. Every time I take a step forward in my life, because I am the center point of all, as you are the center point of all. Our magnetism will either be pulling in or pushing away. We got to recognize that this is the reality, when we're either in a push or a pull. So I want to pull these things into me that I'm thinking are outside of me but are within me. So as I'm saying I'm not this and I'm not that, I'm recognizing that, oh, I gotta change this shit up. I gotta change my words up so that my projection can change and so that my feeling can change. Because we, on a magnetic field, we are plasma. When I say on a magnetic field, on a level that we can't see, but we have to observe, is this plasma within ourselves that we are made up of, that the reality is. That's another video, another story of information, I would say. But because we are magnetic, I'm going to keep this as basic as possible, is we project and we take in. We are transmitters, we are receivers. We transmit information and we receive information, and we get those upon how we feel. It's an emotion, right? We project thought, and there's a feeling. And some people can feel it more than others. And when I say that, is we can walk into a room and we can feel that there's a vibe in there that is thick. You know, and something ain't right. Well, nobody showed us that something ain't right. We feel it. It's because we project and we transmit and we receive and collect information in this way. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because if I am repelling because of the way I am feeling about love, then it's not because I got to get the love on the outside from somebody else to bring it to me, because that's what we all do. We look, who's going to love me? Who's going to show me how it feels to be loved? And we get this partner and that partner, and it's always just like a goddamn roller coaster for, I would say, all of us. All of us got a roller coaster going on in some form or another. Some steeper roller coasters than others. This repelling force is from the inside. This love that we lack is from the inside. So when we find that love on the inside, we vibrate it, literally. We vibrate it, and then we send that message on the outside, and then it pulls in what it is that we actually want. And that is that love and that care and that respect and that honor, that feeling of joy. But because we're pulling in somebody else who already has that. That's what I'm saying. So that other somebody has that, and they connect with you because now you have it. And because we lacked it, we're connecting to those who lack. Or I should say, we bind to those who lack, or we come close to those who lack because we need reflection. And once we get that reflection, we make that adjustment from the inside, and then we start pulling in what we want because somebody else already has it, and they align and come in. And so I had to create a little system so that every day when I wake up after this separation from David, or this breakup from David, is I have to say something every single day. I got to say a pattern every day, so my subconscious, my feeling, my emotion, myself, my conscious mind recognizes what I am, because I have figured it out, that I am this within, not recognizing I was lacking it within. Now recognize I was lacking it within. And so I'm going to go outside and look for love. Now recognizing, I got to make the adjustments of how I feel about love by myself. So before I tell you what this list I say of what I am every day, you can make your own list. But I'm just going to read you my list so you got a little idea of understanding what I'm saying every day that's helping me project that feeling within inside of me, so that I can draw in that love with somebody else who has that same vibration, who has that same feeling, care, honor, respect for themselves, and can show that to me in their expression, as I will be able to show to them now in my expression, because now I have a new sense of understanding about myself. So let me tell you a little bit about myself when I was a kid. This is what I had to go through this experience with David. It was finding that I have a problem, or have been holding, I should say. I didn't recognize it as a problem until it came to the surface. And then that problem was something I had to make adjustment on. But I didn't recognize I had deep-seated, unchecked emotions about rejection and abandonment. Why would I think that about myself? Why? I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't think those things as an adult. I hadn't thought those things ever as for myself until I started feeling abandonment and rejection from David that I started recognizing I'm still here with this man, accepting this from this man because this is a part of me that where's this coming from? This feeling about myself, this rejection about myself I didn't know I had, but that I had to feel when somebody rejected me in this relationship, and the constant rejection made me look at me. And so going back, I had to recognize that when I was a child, my mom dropped me off with a great aunt, and I was raised there for 4 years. From I don't even remember. I'll tell you the truth, I don't remember. I just remember being a very little kid and seeing this woman coming in and out of my life, which happened to be my mom, and I didn't know that then. I don't have any strong memories of my mother until I was about 13 years old. So that's how that went. And so as a child, we don't recognize it. We're carrying emotions from experiences that we're having when we're kids that affect us as we're adults. And because of this lack of recognition, we never fix the past by bringing it to the conscious mind. So the past is in the subconscious mind that has to come to the conscious mind to make the adjustment, to be able to make that correction so that the patterns and what we're doing now in the present can be balanced. Because a lot of us think that our past is our past, has nothing to do with our present and doesn't affect our future. Well, that's all bullshit, because everything that we do is left in the subconscious mind like a readout, and it's going to project in the present, in which it's always going to affect the future. So if we want to affect our future and make the direction that we want, we have to check out where we are in the present. But that means what was in the past has to be looked at, observed. And so be it that my mom felt that I was safer and better in somebody else's hands, these are her words, than to take a chance that she would raise me and fuck me up. Her words again. She didn't say fuck me up. Those are my words. If you know me, those are my words. But my mom was afraid to ruin me as she was ruined. And so she just thought I'd be better off if somebody else raised me. And again, it's not to be angry at my mom or hate my mom. It's a reflection of we all got a lot of shit. We all got a lot of baggage, and we make decisions upon that baggage, and we don't recognize what happens because we make those decisions. So making these corrections within ourselves are very, very important so that we can better the lives of ourselves, of others, and everything starts projecting in the direction that we want, and not this downgrade, but this upgrade of our existence has everything to do with our projection, and our projection is how we feel. And so I took those feelings from my past and I told my conscious mind, I told myself right there and then, okay, here I'm making the adjustments. I didn't know I had that problem. I didn't know that was in my script. I didn't know that was in my script, meaning my subconscious. And so now I'm taking it straight to my conscious. I'm like, we're rewriting this information. All right. So these are the words that I say to make that rewrite, because now I know that that was an issue. Now that issue is no longer going to be an issue with abandonment and rejection, because now I know that comes from a deep-seated program of information, of experience, that now because I recognize it, I don't have to live it anymore every day. I don't have to live it without recognizing I'm in it. Now I can say, I know who I am, and this is what I deserve for myself. Not for anybody else, but for myself. And so these are the statements that I make. Is I say every morning now, I say, I am loved. I am beautiful. I am cherished. I am respected. I am valued and I am honored. I am whole. I am balanced. I am complete. I am forgiven. And I am aware. And that's the biggest thing, is we got to become aware. Because if we don't become aware, we can't make the adjustment to fix our present, to balance our present, to be able to create that future that we want and we all desire. And so I was able to find that peace and that balance within me not needing it from David or somebody else. I recognize that I'm going to create and generate that vibration by the statements I make, because we have to force it in, just like everything was forced onto us as children. Now we have to force on the information that we do want. For the reality we want to be in, we have to know it. And we have to know it by taking out the past, making a relative connection to why our present isn't the way we want it, and make that adjustment. But once that adjustment is made, then we can move forward with that understanding. But we can't move forward when we feel a certain way, and we can't change that feeling. It's because that feeling's from the past. You got to take that feeling from the past, make the adjustment in the present, and boom, it works just like that. And now magnetically, because now I know on the physical, mental, that these are the things that I am. I am honored. I am loved. I am cherished. When before, the recording in my head was, I'm not this and I'm not that and I'll never be. But because that's an old recording from the past, but I didn't know where it was coming from. It was coming from something deep, 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 so deep that it took somebody that I let in on the basis of love to be able to get in that deep to me, because I don't let people in my space. But this man came deep into my heart, and he was able to pull that out for me without even recognizing he was doing it. But I recognized that there was something I needed to change within me. So I thank David. My experience was painful, as it is for many who can't be with the one that they love, right? But I'm still honored to have this experience. And I say honored because I'm not the same woman I used to be just a few months ago. I'm not. I'm more empowered now within myself, because I can feel, generate, vibrate, connect with certainty of myself that I didn't have months ago, that I didn't even know I needed to look at. Now the next part was, what is the true meaning of unconditional love? So here I am, I've talked about the first part, the second part. The first part is, we're confusing love for sex, made that adjustment, changed my language and how I feel about myself, making a statement every day to be reminded that I'm the projector, I'm the magnet. I'm going to connect with what I want, but I got to be it first. I got to feel it first, right? To be able to project it. And I'm still going through my pain. I'm still going through pain because it's not easy. It's not just from one day to the next. I'm still going to cry. And I still do cry, I still put my head under a pillow because I still love this man. I still love this man. And I can't be with him. But I have a different understanding about him. Now I have a different understanding about myself. I don't need the abuse and the pain. He's going through his own experience, through his rehab, what he needs to rehabilitate within himself. But it doesn't stop me from still loving this man. And the part is, I'm laying on the bed, right? It was about 2 nights ago. It was pretty recent. I had a big old epiphany. Like what? Stopped crying immediately. Got my shit together. I was like, damn, all right. Put my ass in check. I put my ass in check on a regular. I have to take notice and correct myself when need to be corrected, even if I'm fucking crying. Even if I'm in my wallowing pain, boom, gotta make the correction when it comes up, when it's acknowledged. And so what I acknowledge is, I'm on the bed, I'm fucking crying right on this bed right here, and I'm just bawling, and why can't you love me? Why can't you give me what I give you? And boom, right there, I was like, oh shit. I said I love this man unconditionally, because I promised him that I would love him unconditionally, pray for him, love him, pray for him, even though I can't be with him. These are my words that I said to him, and I caught my ass saying, why can't you love me and give me what I give you? Well, I said, oh shit, there's a contradiction right there. That's not unconditional. Unconditional means that I don't expect anything in return. If I give, I give. But you don't have to give me anything back, because it's what I give of myself unconditionally. You know, when we give something to somebody on the street, we don't expect them to have to give us something back to give them something. You know, because we do it from our heart. So unconditional love is something you do from your heart that makes you feel good, and you don't expect nothing back. But yet here I told him that I would love him unconditional, but yet just a few nights ago I'm mad at him because he's not giving me. I'm expecting something from him. I'm expecting from him something he can't give me because he don't have it for himself. How can he give it to me if he don't have love for himself? Like I said, he's going through a lot of things right now. And going back to this is when I recognize that I was expecting something in return, and that's not unconditional love. I shook that shit right off. I stopped crying immediately. You know, I literally went like this because I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna get my shit together. Fuck. All right, I'm gonna crying. He has to go his way. I have to go my way. We both are on our own life journey, as you are on your life journey, and I still will give of my heart, love unconditional, to this man in a prayer every day, that he finds his way, you know, that he finds his light within himself as I have found in me, so that I can keep on building with this understanding, keep on growing with this understanding, keep on projecting with this understanding, so that things grow all around me. Because that's what happens is as we grow and we recognize these things within ourselves, we project and we manifest and we grow all around us, abundance. And that's all that we can do for one another, is set the example by leading the way for ourselves so that others can see, copy, and project. We're in some really tough times. 2021, it's August 3rd today, but in 2021 we're recognizing that things are very hard. We can't fix these things on the outside of us, but we can fix them within, and making those adjustments within will help us be able to navigate our world around us. Those are the things I wanted to share with you today about unconditional love, about love in itself being projected, manifested within the self first. Make those adjustments necessary so that we can project on the outside and bring into our center of space what it is that we want, but we have to know we have it first for ourselves. Truth and Integrity Warrior, Michelle Angelique. Be well.